Hey everybody, good morning. How's it going? It's the weekend and we're just kind of continually, well, I am just kind of continually working away on Buffer Festival stuff and then just kind of hanging out. Took the dog for a walk, which I think is equally healthy for the dog and me. You know, I don't leave the house much, which is not the greatest thing in the world, admittedly. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of give you guys a quick update, or just check in, or whatever. I know a couple people had reached out kind of like asking like why I wasn't in the vlog, or why you know, sometimes I'm not in the vlog and I'm here, you know. Well, basically what's going on is like when I'm still sorting through stuff with, like, you know, mental health and my ADHD and other things, such as like anxiety and depression. And I know it seems like a lot, like, and I don't always want to be talking about it, and, you know, for those that, you know, there's obviously lots of people that relate, but there's also lots of people that don't. We always, or originally we had wanted to keep this a very positive vlog, and so it's hard finding that balance between being positive and being honest. Before I started looking into all of this mental health stuff, I was able to ignore it, and I didn't think about it. It wasn't something that I gave a lot of thought to, or I gave a lot of attention to, and so it's weird because I can look back at the vlogs and I can just think back to like myself before and be like, well, I was fine before, you know, like I was living my life day to day, and, you know, I didn't need pills, you know, and you know, I didn't need any of this, and so why am I kind of going through the hassle and the headache and experimenting with stuff that's kind of changing me a little bit, when, like, just go back to doing what you were doing before. And, you know, the truth is that because the vlog is only 10 or so minutes-ish a day, but, you know, as low as like 7 and as long as like 30 minutes for the really long ones, I'm really able to show a super positive or friendly or hyper or intellectual or reflective or introspective version of myself in the vlog, and obviously that's not what I'm like all day. I do talk a lot all day. I mean, it is me, but it's like the, oh, I'm gonna be on camera me, versus like the me sitting at my computer for 4 hours in silence me. So anyways, you know, looking back at like previous versions of myself, you know, version 26, which would have been me at 26, certainly I seemed fine, looked fine, and actually even thought I was fine, but it's almost like ignorance is bliss, and the knowledge and the studying and the learning about it almost makes it worse, if that makes any sense. And so, like, you know, in this year I started treating my ADHD, and I studied and studied and studied and studied ADHD like crazy, and learned all this stuff about ADHD, and that allowed me to figure out what was my ADHD and then what isn't. Because there's also just like, well, that's just you as a person, that has nothing to do with your ADHD, and that has led me to kind of figure out, well, you know, what else is wrong, if anything. And ADHD isn't something that can go away. Like, you can't treat an ADHD person and heal it, and then they don't have ADHD anymore. But ADHD, especially if it goes untreated for a really long time, causes other problems. And so you have to kind of, you know, once you treat the ADHD and you can kind of draw a line around it and say, okay, these are the ADHD things, what else are you doing wrong? And there's still other stuff. I've been able to define what anxiety is in myself and know what it feels like. And I've been taking a pill for my anxiety. I see what it's like with the pill, I see what it's like without the pill, and I can go, ah, okay, that's anxiety. And it's hard to know. It's like describing a smell, you know? It's like, smells are so hard to describe. Emotions, it's like, oh, happy, sad, whatever. But where those emotions are coming from, it can be really hard to describe anxiety and feeling anxious in ways that are normal, and then in ways that are not normal. Or not healthy, and not, you know, being properly controlled. And so I've been able to define my anxiety, or define my ADHD, define my anxiety, and then now, and you know, this has been my adventure since January, And now, and in the past month, it's like, okay, so I feel like I have the ADHD under control, I have the anxiety under control, and now I'm kind of confronting my depression, and figuring out what is, you know, it's like, well, so suddenly you have like this a crazy amount of disorders. You were fine before, but the statistics show across all people with ADHD that almost 90% of people with ADHD have a second, they call it a comorbidity, a second problem caused usually by the ADHD. 55% of ADHD people have 2 additional things, more than half. So if you know somebody with, if you know people with ADHD, more than half of them have 2 other things. And I seem to be ADHD, anxiety, and depression. And I want to be able to talk about that in the vlog, and I want to be able to tweet about it. And I know it makes some people uncomfortable. I know it makes some people feel like, you know, well, why are you always feeling sorry for yourself, or why are you, so emo, or why are you, sharing this crap, nobody wants to hear it. But I don't do it so that people can understand me. I don't do it so that people can feel sorry for me or know what I'm going through because I am so important that people need to know what I'm going through. I do it because there's other people out there suffering from the same things. And if they feel like how I feel, they feel pretty alone. And they feel like nobody understands. And so I want those people to know, you, if you're one of those people, that I understand. I get it. And so my vlogging about it, my talking about it, my tweets about it aren't to have people get me. I want you to know that I get you, if that makes any sense. The days that I'm not in the vlog are I'm getting my work done. Like with Buffer, we're working a lot. I'm just feeling really, really, really overwhelmed. And I can focus on work, and thank God I'm able to focus because of my pill. Last year I wasn't able to focus at all, doing Buffer specifically. I'm able to focus and I'm getting my work done, and then I'm just feeling overwhelmed and anxious and depressed and otherwise like watching movies or laying in bed, staring at my phone. And so that's kind of like the next tackle is my motivation. Not depression sad, because depression is more than sad. Depression isn't just like, oh, you're sad all the time. It's like depressed, like you just want to lay in bed. You don't even want to, there's no reason to get out of bed. Is what it feels like, and I'll have to say, hell, come out, come hang out, we're going to this place, we're going to go do this thing, and just thinking about going and doing that seems like so much work, it's so overwhelming. I would literally rather lay in bed and do nothing. And I know everybody feels like that sometimes. I feel like that all the time. And I know I'm missing, like, life. Carpe diem, seize the day, And so that's kind of the next thing to work out. And I'm not suddenly just taking massive, massive amounts of pills. I'm not kind of falling slave to, like, pharmaceutical companies, which I know, like, some people get, like, super, almost conspiracy theory, like, the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies are out there to trick you and to get you to buy their pills and whatever and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not about that. It's about learning about myself. And you can just be like, oh, you can't know yourself. Or you can look at what the history of human medicine and philosophy has figured out to kind of come up with labels for some things, figure out what's wrong, figure out what you can do about it, and then I'm certain that I have problems, the way everybody has problems, that have nothing to do with ADHD, anxiety, or depression, right? Just having problems, just not being perfect. And you can't completely draw a box around things, but you can understand yourself more. That's been this whole year for me, this whole freaking year. And so, yeah, when I'm not in the vlog, I'm just feeling super, super overwhelmed, and I don't want to fake it too much, it sucks, like, forcing myself to go on camera and try to be funny or be silly, and then I just hate the footage. And so I think it's better and healthier, even for us, I think, like, our relationship, you watching the vlog, it's better for me to not fake it and just not be in the vlog instead of forcing myself, burning myself out, and then one day just, like, being so fed up that we just quit vlogging And we don't want to do that. I think you and I would rather me just like not be in it sometimes to kind of have that motivation that when I'm doing it, I'm pumped to do it, instead of forcing it and doing it when I don't want to do it. Anyways, those are some thoughts I wanted to share. The vlog's super chill. The vlog's been like super casual and chill, like just for months, which is, I don't know, it's different. Our vlog is different all the time. Every year is different. Every year feels different, and this year's been different. And that's just how it goes. And yeah, for those of you that are watching and watch me talk for this long, thank you for caring. Thanks for giving us some of your time every day. I like actually, honestly, really super appreciate it.
Give me daily vlogs, I want them in my subscription box. I wonder who might drop by, even though sometimes it's Canada outside. So don't go away, we're here every day. It's not ApprenticeEh, it's ApprenticeEh. Hey, hey.